Hey y'all, Billy from Perma Pastures Farm. Sorry if the camera's shaking a little bit. I'm not typically used to holding it myself. Anyway, folks, what I want to talk about today is fertility and the places you might be able to find it. Okay, I'm standing in a giant, take a look here. See this giant mound of wood chips? I'm actually standing on top of it right now. And I'm in a little town called Woodfin. I pass it every day when I go to church. Typically on Sundays, I guess you could say that's kind of the day I gather my fertility, okay? I go by the businesses that I'm partnered, well, where I have a loose partnership, let's say, to pick up the fertility that they would ordinarily want to throw in the dumpsters. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the fertility I feed my chickens and pigs. Typically the omnivores is where I get their stuff. Okay, the herbivores, here, let me kind of post up here and make it a little easier. This way you can kind of pan around. I'm kind of leaned up against something here. Look at all these wood chips. By my judgment, I'd say somewhere in the neighborhood of about, I don't know, there's got to be several hundred, maybe several thousand cubic yards of wood chips, okay? So going back to the fertility thing and Sunday, okay? Okay, before I go to church, a typical day, we get up, do the animals, do what we gotta do, and then I go to each business, and I'm getting more and more of them all the time. So many at this point that I can't possibly take in everything they have to feed the animals that I have. So really, there's more than I could possibly use, okay? That's one method of fertility. That's one means of fertility where I take it from some other place and I bring it to mine, okay? Right here, I'm standing at a place, look at this. I've been by here more times than I can count, and I think I've seen on two occasions where somebody was out here getting these free wood chips. Now, I got a buddy where I trade for honey 9 times out of 10 for the triple ground wooden mulch that he has, and it's aged. But you know what? I got the same thing here. As I dig down in this stuff, I can sit here and dig down, and I'm finding wood chips that have been here for a very, very long time. Because of the high carbon content of wood, if I see it broken down into compost, and I know it's been here for a very long time. So the key for me is, if I want it, I can go down deeper and I can get this stuff that's practically compost. If I weren't in something of a time crunch, I could probably get that out for you. Point being, folks, like Greg Judy has illustrated in his books and a number of others, people I look up to, if you can, don't necessarily outsource your fertility. For example, all the food, like I just stated a moment ago, for my omnivores comes from someplace else. I don't cut hay at my place. Why? Because every time I cut that hay, now there's nothing wrong in cutting hay, folks. There might be, from a permaculture standpoint, in fact, there almost certainly is, if I'm cutting that hay and I'm sending it elsewhere. But if I'm taking that hay and I'm feeding it to the animals on my property, that's really, really a wonderful thing. Or better still, like Greg Judy talks about, why not take the fertility of somebody else's place and bring it to mine? Folks, that's exactly what I'm doing here. When I buy hay, responsible hay from somewhere else, and I take it to my place, I'm doing the same thing. I'm not taking the fertility from my place and then dropping it off somewhere else. Unless, of course, if you count the things that I redistribute in that third permaculture ethic, where I'm taking this food, let's say it's honey, like I just did today. There was a guy's birthday at church and I gave him some honey. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Or let's say there's meat, that there's folks that need it that I know about. Guess what? There's nothing wrong with me giving that to them as well. That's, outsourcing some of the fertility that I have in accordance with that third ethic. But folks, I want to make you think about those other sources of free fertility that are out there. Matt over at Sovereign Village Project, he and Gabby, they do that full time. And I try to do more and more of it. Because frankly, most of us have more time than we have money these days, right? So when you find a stack of wood chips like this, or maybe, let's say you live in a city. There's a lot of cities, sorry about it shaking around, y'all. There's a lot of cities out there, folks, where they have a dump. There's even a college up next to me where they dump these wood chips. They see it as a nuisance. Folks, it's fertility. I'm using it all over my food forest and my orchards. I'm using it now with the chicken tractor on steroids. Fertility. it's not stuff that I even had to do with my property. I got to go into town anyway, so why not come back here? You know, maybe today ain't the best time to do it, not when you got vehicles broke down. But honestly, when you're able and when you can, if you're passing these places where they have free fertility that you can take from where it is, they see it as a nuisance, why not take it and put it where it can be useful at your place? They're all around you. You have only to look. You have only to, there's sometimes you're gonna find it on Craigslist. Maybe there's a one ad, if they even have things like that these days. You know what, there's also other places where you can find fertility. Sorry y'all, cops driving by, probably wondering what I'm doing over here. Well, I guess if things get stupid, I'm recording it right now, but I doubt it. He just seems determined to pull somebody over. That's another thing altogether. But folks, look at those easy to acquire sources of fertility. Check out Sovereign Village Project. That dude scrounges and sources more free fertility than probably anybody I've ever seen in so many different ways and in so many different modalities. You're seeing it right here, folks. Here, I'll stand on top of this thing. Oh, if I don't fall down and break a hip. Look at this. Thousands. And they even got a machine here. Never seen anybody on it. But I'm standing on this pile. In fact, I'll get over here. Whoa, if I don't lose it. There you go. I mean, look at that. Look at that. I mean, all for the taking, and nobody's here to get it. So folks, find those easy sources of fertility. On Patreon, I'll talk about it more and more. In fact, I'm going to give away the goods as far as where I go, the easiest sources I know of to go and get all of the food scraps. Typically, we think too small. I'm going to maybe expand your thinking. Having done this for years and years and years, this is how I've done it, y'all. This is how I do it. Not only the stuff at my place, but I'm taking other people's fertility and I'm putting food into my belly with the stuff they think is nothing more than scraps. So stay tuned. Hope this video is a blessing to you. Till next time, this is Billy from Perma Pastures Farm, where permaculture is my passion, and getting free wood chips and all the other fertility is my passion too. We'll see y'all next time.